How did you see you visited all these different Asian countries? Are there differences in like preference
In what way?
in like the wine integrates into their culture or into the gastronomy? Are there preferences in different wine styles, or is it
Definitely,
similar?
just the way you said cheers. I'm going to take two countries,
Mm,
Japan and China. It's pretty similar the way you said cheers. In
mm.
China, it's gombe,
Yeah.
and in Japan, is kanpai. So you
Okay.
could think it's the same thing, but it's very different. In China, when you say gombe, so here's how it works usually. We drink with dinner. Uh,
Mm,
that's the There's some wine bars, but the most likely you're going to drink wine is dinner, and most likely there's a table of maybe 10, 15 people with a big round table that turns, the
yeah.
classic like Chinese setup. And um, and as usually the guest of honor, so everybody would come to me and would say a kind word like, "You've traveled from thousands of miles.
Yeah.
Happy to see you again," and cheers. So I say "Gombe," but then you cheers and you drink up.
Okay.
So for that, I have a trick. I ask for a small jar and I pour the wine in the jar and I serve very small amount so that I'm not like blasted at the end of the of
Of
the
course.
tasting. So I control the amount of wine. But it's a I they asked me like, "Do you do that in France?" And I said, "Yeah, when we were students and we drinking up." But now, like, I don't imagine being at
Of
such a
course.
prestigious house like Chateau Dauzac and just like chugging wines like that. And I say, yeah, it's pretty different. Like we used to that when we were young, but now we don't really. And it took me a while to understand that it was a very social experience. And if you want to compare like US, which is very let's say individualistic, capitalist culture, versus a more like socialist or communist culture in China, although it's a very interesting mix of capitalism and
Yeah.
communism. But it's still something that is in their culture to share. So in the US, you will ask for, "I want this glass of wine." That's why there's usually a exciting selection of wine by the glass, and you want this wine glass. In China, you have one bottle, you share it with everyone, and you cheers. And when you cheers, you never drink on your own, or have this
Mm,
moment on your own with your favorite wine, but it's the
yeah.
wine that you share with the whole table, and you would again cheer, and that's a moment that you share an experience, and
Mm.
it kind of reflects the communism in a way.
Wow, that's very interesting. And what about in Japan? You said there's a difference.
And in Japan, so again, you have the Chinese way, which is more like a common,
Yeah.
and Japan is a bit closer to America in this way. You say "kanpai," and when you say "kanpai," you have this moment, you cheers, but again, it's your glass of wine, and you can also drink it on your own. In China,
Yeah.
when I drink wine, I drink wine with someone. I share a moment with someone. We usually exchange kind words before cheering,
Mm.
and that's what happened. Uh, in Japan, it's more like the US. I can smell the wine, I can sip on my wine, and it's okay. Again, because
Mm.
I'm the guest of honor usually in China, and so many people want to have a cheer with me. I cherish this moment, and I don't drink on my own, because if not, again, it will be trouble at the end. So I try to be careful and very strategical about it.
Must be challenging. Uh, these situations are so fun when some cultural differences appear, and it's very interesting that something in one culture might be rude, which thing in the other culture is the accepted. I had a similar situation. Actually, I was in Bordeaux I was studying at the Borders-Lionel winery management master's degree, and obviously I had colleagues from all over the world, and we had a wine dinner, and we were discussing with an Italian friend, and while we were pouring the wine, I explained to them that in Hungarian culture, it is actually rude to pour wine to someone who already has some wine in the glass, but to refill the glass, because in Hungarian culture it means that you are trying to hurry up the guests so they leave. Just drink, and leave my house. That's what it means. But my Italian friend explained to me that actually in Italian culture it's the exact opposite. If you are not pouring, if you are not refilling, it means that you don't want to share your wine. So then we agreed on that if I refill your glass, that's a problem. But if you don't refill mine, then that's also a problem.
Ah.
So we try to implement the cultural differences in a way to fit the wine dinner. Thanks for watching this video. You can watch the full podcast episode by clicking here, or watch another interesting video by clicking here. Let's continue the discussion in the comment section, and see you in the next one.